So today I wanted to talk a little bit about forgiveness and how forgiveness ultimately is about forgiving yourself, and it's remembering and seeing that we are all one, and just like we're all one ultimately outside of this world as our true self, in the world we're also all one, as in we're all one ego and we all share the same ego. And so it's about seeing others as yourself, because the entire world is a projection of our own guilt, our own fear, our own shame and unworthiness. All this stuff that happened as a result of us splitting from our source. Being away from our source for the very first time created the most immense terror, guilt, regret, self-hatred, you name it. And the weight of that caused us to go unconscious. And that unconsciousness then created the ego and the world and duality. And then that then created the world and everything you see in it. So we're all separate fragments of that ego. So forgiveness isn't about, it really doesn't matter what you or anyone does in the world. None of it really matters because it's all a dream, but it's about seeing the world for what it is, which is a projection of the ego, and realizing that, whether it's your partner, whoever it is in the world, anyone that you're having kind of conflict with, realizing that that conflict is a projection of your own ego, and that the ego has designed the world the way that it is to continue to project your own fear and guilt outwards. So every situation, every experience, everything is the entire world is so that we can project outwards, and everything appears to be out there instead of, well, not in here because not the body, but inside the mind. And it's about realizing that everything is happening inside of you, the world is happening inside of you, and there's only one of you. If you're in an argument with somebody, you're in an argument with yourself. In having that argument, you're just trying to project that guilt outwards, and you're trying to place the blame on another person. And so the key to awakening and to getting back to our real self, to getting back to love, is to take back our projection, to stop projecting it outwards, and to realize that all of these experiences come, and these experiences will come, but it's those experiences that cause you to get in touch with that underlying guilt and that underlying fear. It's in these seemingly bad experiences that you uncover what you've been keeping from yourself, which is that guilt and that fear. And it's by going through those tough experiences that bring that to the surface. But see, if you go through those tough experiences though, and it starts to bring that stuff to the surface, but then you project it and say, you did this to me, you are the problem and you need to be punished, then you've wasted that experience completely. And what could have been a really helpful and healing experience just turned into another way the ego escapes its fear and its guilt. So the key is to go through life and have these experiences and allow that guilt and that fear and everything else to kind of come to the surface, and instead of projecting it outwards and blaming another person or another thing, whatever it is, it could even be sickness or something like that, but the tendency that everyone has is to blame something else for it, whatever that might be, whether it's a person, a thing, a government, whatever. But the key is to not project it outwards, to experience what you're feeling and say to yourself, I did this. This is a result of me separating from my source, and these are the feelings that I've been denying in myself, and it's time to completely own those feelings and to feel those feelings and to recognize that those feelings, ultimately, there's no need for any of it, And that's forgiveness, because there is no need for any of it, because we never really disconnected from our source. We just believed we did in our mind. But we can't just go back to being ourselves again without first feeling and experiencing the effects, firstly, of that choice to split ourselves off from our source. And we experience those effects through everything that we experience in the world of duality. Then by feeling all the feelings as, as they come up through our travel through life and through our experiences. And when things come up, to not project it outwards, which is to not play the ego's game, because the ego, all it wants to do, because that's the ego's job, is to project everything outwards. So if we want to weaken the ego, and if we want to escape the clutches of the ego, then we have to stop playing the ego's game, and we have to stop projecting everything outwards and realize that we are the source of everything. We are the cause of everything. And that means looking at all the really horrible and bad stuff and realizing that we are the cause of that too, because we are. And ultimately as well, like, you can look at that stuff in the world and in your experience and in your life, and you can, once you have accepted that you were the cause of it, you realize that it doesn't matter. None of it was real anyway. None of this is real. So it's only by projecting it, continuing to project it outwards, that you make it real, at least in your own mind. And taking back the projection, you're taking back the illusion, and you're seeing that none of it's actually real. There's really zero reason to have guilt or to have fear, to have shame, to have self-hatred. There's zero reason to have any of that, because we never actually separated from our source to begin with. But it's only by facing all of that stuff that we realize that. So also, it can be incredibly challenging as well. It can be extraordinarily challenging to not project that and blame the other person, and to realize that what I'm experiencing in the world is just a reflection of that. It's just an effect of that. And it's by owning that effect and recognizing that, it's me. By realizing that and by accepting that, you're freeing yourself. And not only are you freeing yourself, you're freeing the other person too, because the other person is you. And if you can actually do that in one of those moments and be able to see that person as yourself, the amount of healing that comes from that is absolutely mind-blowing. It's extraordinary. And the difference that it's made for me in my life and in my meditation, in my just overall happiness, is just incredible. If you want to be happy while you're still in the world, that you stop pointing the blame and pointing the finger outside of yourself, and just take complete responsibility for absolutely everything that goes on, not only in your life, but in the world, because it is your responsibility. It's all of our responsibilities, and it's all of our responsibilities to heal. And that is how we heal, by becoming aware of what we've been unconscious of, because, the entire world was created purely as a way to hide from ourselves and to keep that fear and that guilt hidden, because it was so immense. But, because we're fragmented, we can all heal in a way that we're all completely and utterly capable of. Prior to fragmenting, that terror and that guilt was absolutely ginormous, and that's why we went completely unconscious. But, as fragmented parts of that self, we don't have to heal the entire thing on our own. We just have to heal what arises in our experience, and that is very, very achievable. So I guess that's all I had to say for this video. Yeah, until next time, have a good one.